So presently I'm standing here right now, you're so demanding. Tell me what you want from me. Concluding, concentrating on my music lover and my babies. Made me wanna ask you later for a ticket out of town. So can I get a window seat? Hey. Don't want nobody next to me. I just want a ticket out of town to look around and I say touchdown. I just want a chance to fly, a chance to cry, and it all bye. Oh, 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 but come back, baby, come back. I want you to leave me. Come back, hey, come back, baby, come back.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Somebody get Taraji a window seat stat. After this movie, give her a break, okay? Give her a moment. Welcome to this good old Straw Live. We are about to get into this movie. Spoilers ahead, because you know y'all like to come in here and pretend like y'all know what y'all here for. If you have not seen the movie, please do not come in here expecting us to be non-spoiler. We're about to get all the way up and through this movie, up and down. When I say we, I mean myself and my guests backstage. Be sure to hit the like button on all three of our channels, engage in that chat on all three of our channels, and also drop below later and let us know what you thought about our commentary. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to bring my partner in crime out first to see if she's ready. Ashley with the sweet perspective.
Hey y'all, hey. You know I'm ready, Tyra. I'm ready to, Tyra put me onto something today. And because I was here all in the mind of, I am going to defend Tyler Perry today because I felt like he cooked with this one a little bit. I actually liked it. But then after seeing what I done seen today, I'm gonna have a little smoke for Tyler today. And I hate that, but I will say I'm ready to dive all in it, Tyra.
Child, the way you see how you just threw me under. Tyra put me on.
You did, and one of the subbies from under my post was like, "Oh, this is this," and I was like, "Oh Lord."
Yeah, we were definitely going to get into it. Last but not least, my man's is in the building. Brandon Keith Avery here with just his opinion. Are you ready to talk about Straw?
I am ready to talk about Straw. Have a lot of things to say, a lot to get off my chest and respond to. I may have been wrong with this one right here. I'm open because I was pretty harsh on it, but I've heard the opinion of others, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, could I have looked at this the wrong way? But I don't know. I think I may end up standing 10 toes down. But I'm excited because I have a brief idea of how Ashley feels. How you doing, ma'am? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Sorry, I have no clue other than the small exchange we had. I really have no clue. So I'm curious, and I'm ready to do this.
All right, we're getting started. We're going to bring us on in. Shout out to the 100 people already here. Make sure that you are hitting that like button. We like those numbers. Now, briefly, because we don't want to dive too far in. B, I'm going to come to you first. What were your overall thoughts of this film?
I thought the story was pretty cool. It borrows from John Q. Denzel Washington. That's actually one of my favorite Denzel Washington movies. I love it. I think I even like that more than Malcolm X. But it was some similarities there, and I can understand that a lot of people can relate to this film, especially Black women, single Black women, and that's cool. But I just thought it was too much. While the story was great and Taraji did a decent job overall, everything surrounding it for the most part was just some of the worst. I've seen from Tyler Perry, in my opinion, the production was just very low value, and it's just frustrating because I know that he can do so much better. So I didn't enjoy it. Well, I did enjoy some moments, but there were other moments. I mean, it was some good in the movie. I will say that there was some good in the movie, and I don't hate Tyler Perry. I like half his stuff, half his stuff I don't. But there was just a few instances in this film, a few sequences that just kind of ruined the whole thing for me, to where I'm just like, nothing else matters because of this event and this event, and I just it's more negative than positive, unfortunately.
Mm. I definitely was not a fan after watching it a second time and giving it another once over. I'm still not a fan. There were some bright spots in this film we'll definitely get into, and we'll also get into the moments why I'm just feeling like the little small windows or peeks into mental health or the plight of a black woman is not enough to save this film from the things that I did not like. Uh, I'm gonna leave it there because I'll go. Ashley.
So overall thoughts, like I said, I actually liked it and I was surprised at my own self. But here's what I do. Whenever I watch a Tyler Perry film, I have to suspend reality and have to do like a complete reset, right? Like on my brain. Like I am going to watch this Tyler Perry movie. Ashley, you are going to look at this with new eyes, right? So honestly, I really, really feel like this was one of the better things I've seen for him over the last 6 months to a year, if I can be honest with you. And I think because the overarching theme of sisterhood, of Black women's mental health, the aspect of like the psychosis that she was in for those 24 hours, to me made the first half make more sense. I love the relationship that she ended up having with Sherri Shepherd in the bank, because it's like, I think being out here alone in the world, some again, especially I guess those who are disenfranchised, maybe of a lower economic status, who feel like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders, to have somebody finally reach out to you and be there to support you and hold your hand and walk you through something. I just thought it was special. And it's something I feel like I haven't captured in a Tyler Perry movie for a very long time. Like I cried real tears. I did. And not because I saw me in her, but I think just as a feeling empathetic person, you could understand why she would go into a psychosis after losing the only somebody who loved her.
Mhm.
Like I felt it.
Yeah, and I love that. I love how divisive this film can be. It makes for good conversation because I watched it and I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any. I did not. I was just waiting. Like, oh, there's that, and it says a whole lot about the difference in opinions, but that's okay. That's what we're here to talk about. But getting into Taraji and TP, this is a Tyler Perry production per usual. Writing, directing, producing, all those good things from his studio. This is his fourth collaboration, I believe, with Taraji. Of course, we have Acrimony, we have I Can Do Bad All By Myself, and I also think that she's in A Family That Prays, if I'm getting that one right. But I didn't know a whole lot about this film. I know my expectation was set, and I really hate that we have to always lean into Tyler. Well, keep your expectations low. So then when he moderately performs, it's some grand situation. No, I'm not grading you on a curve. You've been here long enough and you're very, very established. You have the funds too. So I'm going to treat you the same as any other director and writer. But the only thing I heard was 4 days. 4 days it succeeded the film. Oh, Straw, Taraji. I was kind of taken aback at 4 days as if it was some type of, astonishing achievement or a badge of honor to wear that we were able to accomplish this in 4 days. Is it good for 4 days? Absolutely. Like, that's commendable, but would we have benefited for 4 months? that would I think would have made the world of difference with the things that I don't agree with this film. But actually, I'm going to come back to you. How do you feel Tyler Perry did, at the helm of this film, and how do you feel this stack up if you've seen, other collaborations with Taraji, mostly Acrimony, as far as what they've been able to do together over the years? Because despite everything else, and what we also lean into with TP, Taraji will go on record and say, "I've never been paid more than when I've worked with Tyler Perry." Ashley?
Yeah. I mean, so I have never seen Acrimony, but I have
Mm.
seen I Can Do Bad All by Myself. And so here's the thing. And somebody tried to get slick in my comments because I'm going to tell the truth about a thing. He relishes in Black female trauma. It's what he does. Like, it is what it is. You're just going to see it in 99.8% of his work, right? And so I Can Do Bad All by Myself was again another situation. I think note for note, it's probably, I think they're right there. I don't see any grand departure or greatness from this. I will say Tyler Perry on a regular basis pisses me off with this time test. Like, ooh, let me see if I can do it in 24 hours. Ooh, I got it done in 15 minutes and we're in post already. Like, it's not a badge of honor. This isn't a race. Like, maybe he's cutting the costs on this side so that he can pay the actors more. But here's what I will say. He does have a knack for finding talent. And I will say, unlike a lot of his other films that we've seen, especially lately, I will say Taraji still carried. We've talked about his poor direction and how he will have competent actors come in and underperform for whatever reason. I didn't feel that over here. So for that, is he getting better, or is Taraji just that strong of an actress? That's kind of the question I'm asking myself. And also, when you kind of almost steal, copy note for note other movie, you can get something done in 4 days, I guess, as I learned earlier today.
Comment, child, because try to play in my face. B, what about you? How did you feel about it?
I want to echo pretty much everything that Ashley said. You hit the nail on the head. You just said a number of things I planned on saying, because he does take advantage. I don't want to say take advantage, but or exploit, even though that's kind of what he's doing. Black pain from black pain from black women, and that's kind of genius. But because it exists and everyone likes to be heard and are acknowledged, so I'm not mad at you there. But if you're gonna do that, I just want a more quality production. I don't want anything cheap being done in 4 days. It doesn't even have to be 4 months. I mean, just a month, a couple of weeks. I mean, if you're able to do it in that amount of time and provide a quality product, hey, get in, get out. I'm not mad at you. It saves money, it saves time. People can get back and do other things and do other work. But when you're cutting corners with what it seems like, and exploiting this niche that way, I don't like it. And yet he does have talent. One of my things I just didn't like about this, Rockmond Dunbar, he was in A Family That Prays, and I'm not saying he's not the best actor, but he's decent, and I just don't understand why there was a dip in hit the quality of his performance as well. And I can go down the cast list,
Days.
with that. But yeah, I have more to say about that, about the performances, but I'll save it. But yeah, it just feels rushed. 4 days is not cool to me.
Not at all. Not at all. I do think that the project suffered in numerous ways because of it. But getting into the suffering of it all, and believe me, I dug for this. I told Ashley immediately, I think after we watched it, the bulk of why a lot of people who, and no spice to anyone who enjoyed this film, is because of Taraji P. Henson. She's going to carry. She is an actress. I do wish that we were able to give Taraji some more dimension, instead of, I work like a dog. Dang, like we brought her here to yell, be the yell, the yelling, the pride, oh, woe is me, black woman. But still, I prefer, my Taraji in increments. I love a good, subtle Benjamin Button, maybe like a talk to me. When I feel her Suge over there with hustle and flow. I love, when we get these subtle acting performances from Taraji, then when we are hiring her to have her kind of dial it up to like 50. But pros for me, Taraji P. Henson. Taraji P. Henson, she carried this entire film on her back. Uh, Nobody was standing next to her. It was just simply her. The mental illness awareness, we do kind of later on in the film, we get a lens on that, and that's always a great thing, especially in the Black space. I appreciated that, and we do get some Black female solidarity with our characters and see these bonds begin to happen. Other than that, I didn't enjoy too much else. Cons for me: poor writing, pacing, dialogue, directing, all just bad. All just bad. The film was nothing, amazing to look at. The writing, of course, is Tyler. It's repetitive. And aside from being repetitive, lately with his films, we are exchanging dialogue for just simply profanity. And I think that's just poor. Like, give these people something else to aspire to or say in a scene other than ish. It just gets like we're regurgitating the same things, and we're not putting any effort to give these characters dimension aside from fu be that be that. The single Black mother narrative and the stereotypes that were surrounding her. um I'm sick of the Black single mother plight, especially when it comes to Tyler and the way that he executes it. We have seen this from him since the beginning of his career, whether it's not a single Black mother or it's just the Black woman and woe is me and I ain't never had nothing, ain't never been nowhere, ain't nobody never did nothing for me. Like it just gets tiresome. And here we double, triple down on that narrative for a very long time in the film. Subpar acting. I felt like anybody who was standing next to Taraji, they just weren't there. I wasn't interested. It was a bit phoned in, but what do we expect in 4 days? We had some capable people here, but once again, we have 4 days and we don't have much of a script. So that was that. Blatant ripoffs of other films. My next slide is a film that I feel like this movie took from completely, and I don't know how to feel about that. And also the fake out death scene, I really don't think that we needed that. It was gross to me. I didn't like it at all. Ashley?
Yeah, gosh. And then after watching that other one, it's like, yeah, that was kind of a bit disrespectful. But pros, Taraji was over here. But Tyra, I want to give an honorable mention to Sherri. I think Sherri did an adequate job in her interactions with Taraji. Like I said, I really felt her. I believe she was a suburban mama over there, willing to take on this imaginary child. Again, I did appreciate, I appreciate the arc, because I think a lot of people don't acknowledge it, and a lot of people were being kind of insensitive in my comment section around this, like, oh, she was just crazy the whole time, she was just a lunatic, she was crazy. And I don't think people understand the amount of people who enter into psychosis on a daily basis, whether it's from trauma, whether it's from just a simple mental break, or some being predisposed to some other mental illness. So I like that we approached it, and I liked the twist in the story. I liked that this was most of this was in her mind, what she had kind of created and imagined, due to the loss of her child. I loved the sisterhood, and I didn't mind Teyana. I didn't mind Detective Raymond over there being, I'm a single mother too. I think compared to most 99% of Tyler Perry's films, this was very low key compared to the extremes that we get, other than in the first half. Okay, I'll give it to you. In the first half, in the latter portion of the film, I feel like this was probably one of the most grounded stories we've heard him tell. But definitely the Black women solidarity, even from the outside, right? When they live stream it and you see all these women out here, free Janiyah, all that. I liked the premise. Like I said, I like delving into the realm of psychosis because it is a real thing and it happens often. As far as cons, I mean, I agree with you. I agree. I mean, you're not wrong, Queen. Like, as far as the tropes and the stereotypes, that's just what Tyler's gonna do. And so and it's probably me, and maybe it's not fair, but it's a reality. I don't judge his works the way I would judge anybody else's works. I just don't. I have to come into it in order to get any sort of anything from any of his work. I can't look at it like I do other things, because it's never It's never going to be
That's
anything but.
awful.
And I just feel like it's futile, honestly,
That's
to do that.
awful. What Niecy Nash said, I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that. B, what about you? What were some of your pros and cons, if you had any?
Yeah, nice bullet points. Taraji, she was obviously the best in the film, and I just want to say, like, she not as far as how I feel about Taraji. I mean, she's up there. She is talented. You know, not B status, A status caliber actress. You know, some of the best in the game. I think she is Academy Award with worthy. You know, Oscar a caliber actress. So I just want to say that she was the best in this. And I want to give my flowers to Sherri Shepherd as well. She was my second best, one of my favorite characters in the movie. And with Teyana Taylor, I liked her performance when she was conversing with Taraji over the phone, over the PA system, doing the live, the whole John Q moment. That was dope. You know, because she was soft in that moment. She could relate. You know, that was executed nice. But while the acting was great from at least Sherri and Taraji throughout majority of this movie, it was inconsistent at times as well. I enjoyed Sherri, but when they thought that she had a bomb and it was going off, Sherri was like, you don't have to do this, Janaya. We can all leave together. Like that particular scene right there, like what happened to the great acting? Like, you know, you was doing fine, but then this one scene, you know, you just it's as if you started acting yesterday. But I can say the same thing with Taraji. It was good for the most part, but when her apartment is getting rained on outside on the side of the curb, and she, you know, throws her hands up and screams in the air, I'm like, what is that? That was it wasn't sad, it was funny. I mean, you have a great performance throughout this whole movie, but like this particular scene and this particular scene, it's just like, you know, there's no one home, and and that's the same with other people in this film as well. I don't understand why he also has great talent in his films tailored up with somebody that is not in the same realm as acting. I like Glenn Turman, but while she's responding great with no attitude, trying to be constructive,
Evil.
I saw you. You said you was going to the bank. No, you said you was going to the school, but so and so saw you at the bank. I mean, it was like cartoonish, but she's acting really well. Just like, I had to go get the money to give my daughter food or money for school. And then he's responding. It's like you have a fantastic actress with a subpar actor in the same scene. Like, why can't it all be either subpar or bad, or it all be, you know, the best in the business? This mixture of the two is very jarring to me. I did like the, you know, some female black solidarity that you have there as well. But the way we got there was horrible with the men abandoning the bank. Like I mean, you had to make up an excuse to get the men out of there, and that was weak. So, I mean, that just goes with the poor writing and everything else. And so, yeah, the acting was horrible from a number of other people, especially Tessa the teller. Jeez, like it was. Come on, but why can't we have a full cast of great performers? Why does it have to be spotty like that? So yeah, it was great acting, but you know, it was real spotty at times. And you know, I agree with everything else y'all said as well.
Thank you, B. B said you said you was going. They saw you at the back. We gonna get into her awful bad day. But getting into the break-in, but with Taraji. Now, watching the trailer, I instantly went to John Q. I was like, okay, this is John Q, but with Taraji. And then when I actually watched it, I couldn't put my finger on it because I had only saw this movie one time, and it's been a couple years now. I was like, oh, this is breaking for Beat. This is the exact same movie. Now, Breaking flew below the radar to me with John Boyega. It was based on, of course, true events where someone really lost their lives, Brian Easley. And I'm not sure if everyone has seen that film, but almost from front to back, apart from maybe the beginning of this film, is completely breaking. And I was like, whoa. Now, it's one thing to have this premise. You know, this is something we've seen over the years. It's always a situation like The Negotiator, A Dog Days Afternoon, A John Q. I'm taking this situation hostage because of X, Y, and Z. And it's not, you know, for monetary gain. It's more so at the stakes are the lives of someone else. And then a lot of us were getting set it off because prior to knowing Taraji's mental state, there just seems to be a lacking to where we were equating her to TT and set it off, and maybe her elevator didn't go all the way up to the top. So there was a lot of, like, that's not, like, baby, you just shot and killed somebody, you can't just come in. Like, it was just very like, what's going on with Jania's character. But this is breaking, and I don't know how to separate the two as far as how much Tyler blatantly stole from this true life event of somebody losing their lives and going to a bank. From the scenarios, from the dialogue, it was all just traces of breaking. And traces is a strong word. It's just the same. And I don't know how to feel about that and engage with the film because we didn't do enough, in my opinion, to make it our own. It's literally just breaking, but put Taraji and put a Black woman's plight in front of it. Ashley?
Yeah, this pissed me off because I actually even, kind of gave TP that. I was like, I really thought John Q as well, but it wasn't really John Q, not beat for beat, not bar for bar. When I sat up and watched Breaking today, when I tell you it's literally copy and paste, like copy and paste, but just make it a Black woman, and then just let's throw mental illness in just in a different way. But honestly, it's very disrespectful to know that Breaking was based on a real man who ended up having a psychotic break due to PTSD and schizophrenia from his time he served in the war. He was blown away. He was literally blown away. I mean, from the bag to the bomb to the backpack to the bank to all of those things, note for note. I just think it's really disrespectful to take a true story and make these changes and edits, and honestly, for your property to get way more attention than the original story. That's to me what kind of sends it over the edge. I don't know what this does to that man's memory, or even to the outstanding performance from John Boyega over there in Breaking. But that really pissed me off because you're literally watching it and you're like, oh, okay. All right. You just took everything. Like, even if you watch how the bank teller and this actor interact in Breaking, it's beat for beat. You can tell Sherri sat up and Tyler was like, watch this movie, and this is where your motivation comes from. Like, y'all have to watch it. I was so pissed off. I was like, damn it, Tyler, I was trying to work with you. I was trying to be nice on this good day. And just to think that you would do that, it's cheap and it's lazy and it's really disrespectful for me.
Yeah. And a shameless plug for anybody who has not joined the collective Discord. This is what we do over there. We watched Straw in there, and I wasn't trying to rain on anybody's parade, but I was like, if anybody's free, come on over and watch Breaking, because are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? B, what about you? How did you feel about the comparison? And have you seen Breaking?
I have not seen Breaking. When I heard you mention it, I looked it up over here, and then of course you mentioned John Boyega, and I'm like, oh, okay, I want to check this out. So I don't even think I haven't seen it. I think I may have heard of it, but it's definitely on the list for sure. And that's sad, man. If Tyler Perry is biting off of it like that, wow. There was another movie that was brought to my attention that he copied off of as well. I can't remember. It was for how did you get married? I don't know. I can't remember. So I'll take that back if I'm not able to quote it accurately. I honestly did not think of Set It Off, those comparisons. And I have never seen Dog Day Afternoon. Okay. But John Q and The Negotiator did come to mind, definitely. And it's interesting. John Q, like I said, is one of my favorite Denzel Washington movies, and Negotiator is one of my favorite Samuel Jackson movies. But those last two, you definitely some similarities.
Wow. Let me get these super chats. Please, anybody who has not seen Breaking, and I really hated that because I knew how much this film flew below the radar, because at the time of 2022 in the, Fruitvale stations, the situations and scenarios and films that were surrounded by around true lives events. And I think there was just a lot of fatigue and something like American Skin. We just got a lot of these movies in bulk. And where we have something that actually happened, the same scenario beat for beat, along with, you know, the losing of the money, and I just need to cash my check, and I just want what's owed to me, and the whole scenario, I have a daughter, it's just the same. And I'm like, this is a man's actual story, and he lost his life. Like, Tyler, please, let me get these super chats. Please watch Breaking. If you haven't, after this live, you'll see. Thank you so much, Dane, for the super chat. No Tyler Perry slander will be tolerated. Tyler just cast me in his new film, Lies. He knows I have no acting experience, and we filmed in just 8 hours. Thank you so much, Dane. You know I love you. Thank you for the $5. I'm not about to play with you. DeMarcus, thank you so much. What do y'all say? Let's see, who would y'all say is better, a better writer, Tyler Perry or Lena Waithe? B, I'll let you answer first. Are you muted, B?
My bad, I am muted. That sucks. That's a hard question. I don't know. I might have to say probably Tyler. I mean, that there. I mean, there at least half of his stuff I do like. I have like. I don't know if I can say that for Lena Waithe. That's a tough one. Good. Ugh.
Ashley, Tyler Perry or Lena Waithe?
Oh, come on, guys. Come on. Be serious here. Lena is an extremely talented writer. If you guys have never watched Masters of None, go watch that. It's some of the best comedic writing that you'll see. And then also, I think the first couple seasons of The Chi were exceptional. And you know, she birthed that thing and wrote a significant portion of it. Lena, now what things have descended into, that's not my business. But as far as the talent and the prowess as an actual writer, I'm over there with Lena. I'm over there with her.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I haven't seen The Chi, but I have seen Masters of None, and I thought she and even other projects, she's had some. It's a hit or miss with Lena, where with Tyler, there's often a miss. Watch Breaking. That's all I'm gonna say, because it's disrespectful how much we took away from that film, especially with the premise that's really familiar and that we've seen. You know, we've seen it. There's a way to do this on your own. You didn't have to take that man's real life story. Respect. Janiyah is how old? Now, casting for me, and we don't have to spend any time here. I just had my own thoughts watching it. Taraji's beautiful, first of all, but she is a woman of a certain age. She is in her 50s. I think the plight, or kind of where we were going with this story, it would have benefited for us to see maybe. I do have a couple here, you know, a Dominique Fishback, a Keke Palmer, maybe someone a little younger. I think it would have fared better for the story, because with how old she is, I think Janiyah is supposed to be in her 40s with her young daughter. And it just opens the question of, well, what was happening between the years of X, Y, and Z that are kind of unaccounted for. And with Sherri and the kind of the misfire moments, she did do what she could. I did appreciate it, but I was like, ooh, Octavia would have ate this up. Octavia would have ate this up, or you know, Danielle would have ate this up. I wish Tyler took some more time to be more selective and thought about a little bit of everything. And not to ever say that I don't want to see these women working or getting a paycheck or all those good things. That's always great, but I don't think he takes into account other avenues within your script that will benefit from having a younger, older dynamic, instead of, you know, who's going to get, you know, the name. Because if you see Taraji, you're going to watch, because it's Taraji. You see Taraji and Tyler, I'm going to watch, especially because we know how great of an actress she is. But I think the role of Janiyah would have definitely benefited from having someone a bit younger. And then we have, you know, what we would consider to be vets, like a Glenn Turman. Like, why you got this man over here acting like this? Why you have, like, it turned, and if anybody's, you know, in a blaxploitation mood, if you've seen him over there in JD's Revenge, it got caricature. Like, we took Glenn back to the 70s of the over-the-top cursing and the way that he was interacting with her in those scenes, and that goes a little bit for everybody. I wish we had done more with Sinbad. I was happy to see him here, especially after you know, the life obstacles he's had lately. And I was also here for the little different world, you know, OG link up with Sinbad and Glenn, but we didn't give them too much of anything to do. And it's shameful and disrespectful to have Mr. Glenn here with the shenanigans. I hated every single part of that. Um, and even when we get into the likes of Teyana Taylor, I do think Teyana Taylor has promise and she could deliver more in the acting realm. But this situation of 4 days was not doing her any favors. It was really up and down for me. And I wish we had somebody else a bit more seasoned on the other edge of that microphone, trying to really pull her. Kind of when we're getting into Jumbo Yaga and breaking, the opposition to Tiana there would be Michael K. Williams. And Michael's going to bring it. And he's out there trying to, have that brotherhood and that shared experience with Jumbo Yaga's character over the phone. Exact same premise. But we just needed a little bit more from me for like the relatability. But B, I'm going to come to you. How did you feel about the casting here?
It was like I said earlier, just inconsistent. Taraji is great. So is Sherri. But then you have other people, Teyana, who's not remotely as good, or Glenn overacting. And we should have got more than Sinbad. Tessa, and I saw in the chat a lot of people were complaining about her. She got on my nerve too. Ashley Versher. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You have some of the best and some of the worst talent in the same room, in the same scene, and that just doesn't play over well. So some of it's good, some of it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
But Glenn was hilarious.
Ashley, what about you? Did you have any problems or whatever with the casting? Because it was okay, but I don't think we did them any favors with the 4 days, or not really giving them any dialogue or things to do in the scenes or the script.
I don't believe that Tyler gives these people dialogue. I think they ad lib 80% of their lines in every single movie. Like, because they repeat stuff so many times. There's a bomb in the bag, but she's got a bomb. There's a bomb. There's a bomb. There's a bomb. Like, I don't think he writes it. Like, I think he gives them an outline, and say what feels right in the moment. But honestly, this is something that I actually did pick up on when I was watching. When they say Jania's age is 42,
Yeah.
I'm like, 42 where? Like, not being funny, you know what I mean? But just like, really, 42? But here's the thing with Tyler, again, and something we've learned from him over the years. He got people in his mind. When he probably has all these things on a whiteboard and with post-it notes, like, I want you for this, I want you for this. He was probably at an after party and told Taraji, I got something for you right now, I'm working on. And they're going to be in it no matter what. Even if this person was supposed to be 35 years old, he'd had Taraji over here playing it, because that's just what he wants to do. There was definitely opportunity. But again, a lot of it seems like he puts in films who he likes, who he admires, who he wants to, I guess, share credits with on a screen, not necessarily what's going to be better for the piece that he's doing. Everything is motivated by something for me. And again, I'm not going to knock his intelligence. I think he's very smart. You get a couple of big names on the project, you're on the project with your built-in audience, he's going to sell it. But for the quote unquote art, if you want to call it that, he could have done better with the casting, but he doesn't try. He doesn't want to, Tyra. Like, it is what it is. Like I said, he had diabolical Colonel Taylor in his mind already. Yeah, I'm gonna have him cussing her out. Look at that. But I was glad to see Sinbad. That was just nostalgic and refreshing, and like, oh, even though he did look still bad a little bit, but it's better than what I thought he was gonna be. So I was glad to see Sinbad over there.
I was glad to see everyone here, but with the carelessness of the casting, it's always hot and cold in the scene and inconsistent. Like, it just doesn't do his film any favors. I just need him to do better. That's all. Like,
yeah. I like in the 6888, one of the best people was Kerry Washington, and Duplicity, Tyler Lepley, and Ron Rico, and in this Taraji and Sherri. Why can't we get like all 5 or 6 of them together in one film instead of just scattered out over the year? I just think the quality would be better. And you're right, Ashley. They probably don't have a script. They just says, hey, this is the scene, and freestyle it.
That's awful. That's awful. But with this film, back to that pacing being, hitting the level of 2 hours, child, this never needed to be that long. But that first half, we're disrespected, we're harassed, we're evicted, we're robbed in CPS. Jania's having a bad day, and that's an understatement. Everyone is from the pits of hell in this universe. They are. Everyone. This immediately had me put a wall up where I shouldn't. First, we don't have a moment to breathe. We are met with Janaya's conditions, the living, the lacking, the oh my god, the whoa. There isn't a lot of, and I forgot this baby's name. What was their daughter's name? I kept calling little Marseille Martin with the little glasses in the hair. I was like, look at this little Marseille Martin baby. But we don't have enough of just the foundation for her as a mother, and just with this baby, it's just extremely hard hitting. Even the moment of trying to bathe her in the tub and baby and get up, well, you can't bathe yourself. Remember, you fail. Like, it's just too much. And they said, I needed the $40, and we're just immediately met with grief and struggle and strife, and that's all we are like given for an hour straight. By the time we have the incident occur, Glenn Truman being an asshole, and we meet that officer on the street who blatantly tells her, I'm going to kill you and find a way to arrest you. I was like, what is this? What is this? Like, for the ending and what Tyler wanted to do with that twist, I needed more nuance given to, onlookers, like what's going on. Like, her baby's no longer here. We weren't at all focused on that in the beginning of this film. It was everybody needs to be held on wheels, from the random customer, her as a cashier, the person saying, like, it was just one thing after the other. The lady who's, eviction, like, it was crass. I was like, oh my gosh. I understand why and what he was trying to do to get her to a breaking point, and also us as an audience. How much can she take before she explodes and she's screaming in the street, oh, they didn't took my baby, they put me out, like the cop said, and I got a ticket. Like, it was unflinching and too much. It was overkill, and it left me in an unrealistic state. If this is grounded, Ashley, I don't want to know what ungrounded is. B, how did you feel prior?
Damn, say it and just skip over me, Tyra. Go on, I'll get to you.
No, prior to us getting into the bank, B, because that's when we kind of take our foot off the gas. How did you feel about every single incident that we had Janaya go through?
This was ridiculous. In my review, I said that yes, all of these things are realistic and they can happen to a person. Maybe a few of them can happen to you. But it was like 12 events back to back in like the free 3-4 hour period. That's just, come on, man. That's just nonsensical. And can I talk about the bank? Can I like, how deep can I go? That is one of the dumbest, most retarded scenes I have ever seen in my entire life, for multiple reasons. Like, Richard Glenn Turman's character was an idiot, and so was Taraji. Janaya, I don't understand what Tyler was thinking, how he could pull this rabbit out of a hat, because it just didn't work. Like, okay, I don't want to get too excited. This ruined the whole movie for me. Even if Tyler Perry wanted us, we all relate this to John Q, and she had her moment, and they were good between Sherri and Teyana's character. But every time I was a moment from feeling sorry for her, I went back to the scene at the job where they was robbed and she murdered her boss in cold blood. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care if you snap. That is just no justification for you to murder somebody, even if they are an asshole. Because, like, what if that was your mom, your uncle, or whatever that was working at a job and there was an asshole, and you got a phone call later in the day that some lady snapped and murdered them because they got fired? You wouldn't, oh, well, it's okay because she snapped. That just doesn't make any sense. The fact that she murdered him out of cold blood, I just can't forgive. And if Tyler really wanted him to die, let's just try to make it a bit more realistic. As she is fighting for mind you, she jumped the robber saying, like, no, I need that money more than you because I need it for my daughter. But she left the money there, then proceeded to go to the bank and still try to cash a check. So that's a plot hole right there in itself. But if you wanted her to struggle, if you wanted Richard Glenn to die, why when she's struggling with the robber, the gun can actually accidentally discharge and take him out that way. That way we have a more valid reason for wanting to feel sorry for her and sympathize with her. Like, damn, like not only did you get fired and your boss said, F you, get out of my office, now you're about to get robbed and you accidentally murder your boss. Like, whoa, this is crazy. But no, they turned her into a murderer. And Tyler could have done this. He could have just, like, with the gun discharges, accidentally shoots the boss. The robbers, like one of them got scared and ran away. They both can get scared and run away. She's down there trying to save his life, calling 911. Oh my gosh, I was at the job. We got robbed. The gun went off. My boss, he's bleeding right now. Please send the ambulance, 911. And she's being a caring person, somebody that we want to root for because she's caring for our boss, even though he done fired her ass and cussed her out. The boss looks at her and still blames her, like, no, don't hang on the phone. No, this is your fault. You set this up. And it's like, as he's dying, he's still blames. It's like, damn. Okay. And then he dies. But no, he don't want to do it that way. He wants to turn her into a murderer. So that's bad on her part. But then on Glenn's part right here, first of all, she saved your life. You had a gun pointed at you and she shot the robber and stopped your store from getting robbed. So instead of like, oh my gosh, Janaya, thank you so much for saving my life. Thank you so much for stopping my store from getting robbed. You want to talk crap in front of her while she has a gun in her hand? What person in their right mind would do that? Talk crap to somebody with a gun in their hand that just murdered somebody. I would be on their side. I can't even talk right now. I would be scared, just shutting the hell up or trying to be on their side. Thank you for saving my life, but you're gonna just rub the pie in her face like, this is your fault. You going to jail. I got 911 on the phone right now, and I got the murderer right now. Like, who? Why would you do that? Like, are you asking to die? And because I criticize this in Tyler Perry's crappy writing, I hate black people. I've been. I mean, the scene was stupid. I mean, am I tripping?
No, you're so passionate. No, what I had an issue with this because as quickly as she shot Glenn's character, as nasty as he was an innocent man. They wanted us to forget it and be inconsequential because that white man who stopped me earlier with that white woman and that cop, and he was dirty. He said he was going to kill me and get me. This is why I can't come outside. And they went on with the rest of the story like this never happened. I was like, you still killed the man, Janaya. Like, we could have easily had the gun go off and have it be like a misfire situation in a tussle to where these incidents are piling up against her and she just really didn't have any control. She is a victim. The moment we take that away from her, we turn it into something else. We should not have had her murder Glenn in cold blood in that damn office. That was a choice, Tyler.
And I'm one more thing. And then towards the end of the movie where the crowd out there is rallying for a free Janaya, the white reporter is like, let's see how they feel about this or whatever. Oh, we so sick of this shit. Black woman, we tired and fight the system, blah, blah, blah. Well, we do know that she's wanted for murder. Well, what the hell do those people do? I get it if she snapped. Like, we excusing cold-blooded murderers now. Just another reason why I didn't like this movie.
Lord.
Had to say that.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for the $10. Janaya asking why people were scared while flinging a gun around. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot, and we couldn't do anything but watch because they wanted us to suspend belief because, you know, she's had an awful bad day. How much can she take? She snapped. Wouldn't anybody like? And now we're supposed to deal with the terms, or even her being so delusional with things that have happened due to, of course, mental illness or just the state of things. I'm going to come in here with this bloody check and you're just going to cash it because I'm at the end of my rope. Like, I'm not functioning in reality right now because I have been through so much. They really wanted us to believe that, but were we helped that much? I don't know. Thank you so much, Nelson, for the super chat. Great review of this movie. Thank you. Ashley, what about you?
Okay, finally, golly. Now, I said halfway grounded towards the end is what I said, Tyra, but we all know that the first part of this was Alexander's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's exactly what it was. But to me, it came full circle because like I said, a person being in psychosis, that may not actually be the way things were, but that was her perception of how everyone reacted because it was over the top. From throwing the beer bottle in the grocery store, for she was every kind of bee in the book, to going back, to doing all those things. While the final result was what it was, I think she popped, diabolical Colonel Taylor. I think she did all those things, but I don't necessarily believe that how she perceived reality in that moment was grounded in reality. I think that was her psychosis. And I think that's what I've inferred. Now, I'm giving them more credit than you're supposed to give writers, y'all, because a storyteller is supposed to convey that, and it's supposed to be framed, and you're supposed to get that. I'm taking that as in my own mind and through my lived experiences. All right, so that's what I'm doing. It was what it was. We don't expect anything from the clothes being in the rain to the cop. I'm gonna blow your effing head off. I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find a reason and excuse to blow your effing head off. And then she kind of almost has this self-fulfilling prophecy. Like I said, after it was all said and done, and I know that she had snapped and she was not a part of this here plane, it made more sense to me. I was like, okay, because on second watch, I was like, all right, so yeah, this didn't really happen this way. None of this happened the way that we
No,
saw it. It was her
no,
perception.
no, we cannot. I'm not giving Tyler that. He put that little raggedy ass twist on the end just so he could have that window of, well, was it all real? We
You
really
know what
don't
I'm saying?
know. We really don't know what all took place with Janiyah because it was all a
Stop
dream. Like, this ain't Biggie. This ain't a B.I.G. Y'all not about to play on me and my time that we spent with this nonsense. Even if we were supposed to go that route, every single moment that she had of acting in this way, we should have had people looking concerned, like, what is going on? It was too much of people just acting normal.
Yes,
Most we
yes.
had was this situation at the school where she went to drop her baby off, and we have the teacher looking like, well, why is she here, or why? But we can't have that, and then in the same turn call her in here for the $40 for the lunch, and she's literally yelling, "Y'all trying to take my baby? Oh, it's I bathed her. And the lady just stood there. Nobody thought anything of it. Like, it just wasn't enough continuity wise for that ending to track. I'm not handing that dog no more bones. I'm sorry.
And the extras gotta perform too. Like I put in the private chat, I forgot about the bottle throw.
Yeah.
That's why I was laughing. And look, I'm not gonna say that can't happen because dudes will do some crazy stuff if the woman denies a phone number. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to say that's not reality. However, it was too many women else surrounding and in line, or just customers in general, for them not to respond to that and like go after that dude, call him out, pull out their phones, get them on live or whatever. Like everybody just kind of standing around, like Tyra said, not being normal. I mean, that just wouldn't have flied in the real world. Like somebody would have said something.
What fixes this is once we get to the ending, like they tried to do briefly with the teacher looking haphazardly, like, who is she dropping off? Her baby's no longer with us. You go back to every single incident and scenario where you have Glenn Truman screaming at her friend, like, oh, he was just talking to her like a normal person. This person didn't throw this bottle at her. Or even when she was pulled over by the officer, it wasn't this type of exchange. Just mentally, because of where she is, that's what she heard. You didn't give us that, so I'm not giving you nothing in return. I am not playing these games with Tyler. I'm not. I refuse. I'm sick of. We always gotta hand him a damn bone.
Yeah.
No, we gotta write it and fix it and create situations for him, and I'm not doing that. Mom's outcries and the cash in this check. Now, in the midst of this bank, we have the plight of it all, and we have Janiyah in here acting like she ain't never seen a cold glass of water or AC. Like, I just never. Oh, God. It was so much, and I did understand her situation and the struggle of it all, and the poverty, and I'm barely holding on as a mother, and I'm trying to do it all, and nobody understands. We have these women surrounding her who are trying to either give understanding, or you either have kind of the older generation. Y'all ain't never, you have these different perspectives from everyone, and I see what Tyler was trying to do, but in the in the midst of it, we get Sherri or Nicole that, this interesting kind of dynamic of, it was kind of push and pull with Sherri's character, because at sometimes you would have her really endearing, but you didn't know at certain points whether or not it was authentic, because I'm feeling for you as a black woman and be for your plight, and I've seen you coming here with your daughter, you da 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 da. Or okay, she has a couple of screws loose, let me handle her with kid gloves to get us out of the situation. I just really didn't know, because are you sincere, or girl, you got a bomb, so I'm gonna say whatever I need to. I don't know. And then we have Tessa down there. Tessa was very unconcerned. I don't care what's happening. Just, we need to get out of here. I don't care. I'm going to take every single window and opportunity to say something, to interject, to your trying to treat her like she's some type of martyr. She's a criminal. She's I'm not doing that. And then, of course, we have Teyana Taylor's character on the outside of the bank. I understand my mother was also a struggling single mother, this, that, and she's pretty much the only outside voice of reason, rooting for Janiyah in this entire situation. Ashley, how did you feel about all of these women here and the things that were taking place in the bank?
Well, I think both things can be true, Tyra. As far as Sherri Shepherd's character, Baney, get yourself together. Stop being a baby, Baney. But no, I really feel like both things could be true. I think Sherri could be in fear for her life and still have a heart of compassion for Janiyah in this situation. And I liked how she navigated it, right? Like, okay, I'm scared. Yeah, don't do it. You don't have to do it. You have to do it, Janiyah. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like, girl, it's a science project. Okay. Then things shift and I can really focus in on who you are as a person. And then even understanding that she knew that Janiyah had lost the baby the night before, I think it lent itself to giving her more grace. At least that's what I felt with Sherri's interaction with her. Like, okay, I already know this. I already know she's damaged, broken. After I know this isn't a real incendiary device, now I can really kind of talk to her and be there for her and help walk her through it, because she's clearly unhinged. Clearly unhinged. I think that's an awareness that Sherri's character had long before anybody else did. I'm not mad at the teller. I'm not mad, girl, because I don't want to be here either. It's hot. Janiyah over here talking about, you think this is heat? I never had air conditioning. I never had a fan blowing in the window. I've been hot all my life. You see, I don't even sweat in here. I was like, girl, relax. Everybody's not there. I did love the queen mother, because she looks at the teller and is like, baby girl, how old are you? Because you're terrible. You don't feel nothing. No, I feel like I want to go home. I feel like I don't want to be here anymore in this situation. I think that's a true depiction of what people would do in this circumstance, not knowing or even knowing what the conditions are. I don't give a damn about you, Janiyah, and your situation. I just want to make it out of here alive. And then you have someone else on the other side who's like, I'm going to be here to walk you through it. Then we have another teller who feels compassion, but not too much, because I still want to get out of here. I think that was a true representation and true depiction of how people would have acted in that space. As far as Detective Raymond, Tiana's character, again, after watching that damn movie Tyra had me watch, that's Michael K. White over there. I see you, bro. I've been there. I was in the war. I'm a veteran too. Like, I'm a single mother too, Janiyah. I understand what it's like to have the weight of the world on my shoulders. Like, literally, when I tell you it's bar for bar, it's bar for bar, just in a different font. And that's what's pissing me off about this, because be original. If you're gonna go down this path, you have to do better. But yeah, the bomb was ridiculous, the whole bank situation. And at the end of the day, I'm cashing that lady check. Janiyah, I see you every week. I see you bloody. I see the blood dripping off of you in the vest. I know you're not hint. I know you're not all there. I'm gonna cash this $562 check and I'm gonna send you on your way, and we'll just deal with the rest after that.
Yeah. It's hard to watch Breaking and then watch this, but yeah, all of this over, the small, because it's not about the money. Just like with that film, it's about being seen. And I think we spent a lot of time on Janiyah's plight and her lack of support as a black woman. It did grow to be a little tedious. Of, oh, you eating breakfast? I ain't never ate breakfast. Like, oh, okay. It became a lot. Thank you so much, Nisha, for the $4.99. It was her bag. It was in her bag with her daughter's meds that she needed, not the money. So she's saying it was about, I think it's for you, B, about why she said, I need this more than you do. The robbers were trying to put the money in her bag and take it. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And seeing we got one more here.
Um,
Go all the way down. Dane, thank you so much for the super chat. How would y'all rank this against it? I'm not about to play with you, and we ain't gonna put this nowhere near sinners. These are two different situations. B, what about you? How did you feel about her outcries for help and support and why she was even in the situation, as well as all the women who were surrounding her?
First, shout out to that super chat person. Good point. I like when I miss stuff, and that made sense. So good stuff right there. And we're not going to compare this to Sinners, but by the end of this, I was going to ask y'all, do y'all want to compare this to John Q? But we can come back to that. Tyra, I do agree with you as far as saying I wasn't sure what side of the aisle Sherri Nicole was on either. Was she genuinely wanting to help and felt sorry for her, or was it because she had a bomb in the bag and she's trying to get out of there alive? But actually, I do agree with you. Both can be true. Because I mean, just as simple as that, like, damn, you got a bomb, but I feel sorry for you, but you are tripping. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get you some help, but we're not friends yet. So I feel you. The whole bomb thing was just another stupid caveat that they threw in here. I mean, my gosh. Now, I was talking to my stylist earlier today about this, and she brought up a point just because we was talking about. I was like, hey, Tyler Perry. Oh, wow, I already saw it and I loved it. And for some of the reasons we did, but she talked about how poor the quality is. But she was like, you know what? I like that they highlighted somebody in the hood that don't have nothing, but they're still trying to get their daughter involved in STEM and science projects, etc. I was like, you know what? That's cool right there. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them just knowing their alphabet, they trying to make science projects. However, did it have to be a device that looked like a bomb? I mean, come on now. Like, not even the smartest person knows what a bomb looks like. So Janaya could have been like, baby, I know you're passionate about this, but I'm gonna have to let you redo this science project again because it looks like it's gonna blow somebody up. And so the fact that that's just never explored, and Tyler used this MacGuffin as a reason to keep them in the bank, like, just out of everything else, she just also happened to be accused of having a bomb. Like, she don't have $40. Go ahead.
This is when we go back to breaking, because that's his whole narrative of, taking over the bank. And the threat is, I have a bomb. I'm in here with these two tellers. But of course, in the end, it's a different situation. But he had a bomb. I think Tyler was trying to stick too close to that.
Okay. That makes it worse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a pin in it, and I'm gonna come over to Tessa. She frustrated the hell out of me. Again, going back to your earlier slide, Tyra, you have a great actress as Taraji, but then you have a super subpar actress with Tessa, the bank teller. I mean, not that this is just some flex, but I was a teller in a personal bank before, so I have a little bit of experience. No one is going to react that way when you're getting robbed, especially if you know the person. And if you are, like, find another job. But she would have been fired. This was easy. The check was only $521. You already had the money right there on the counter. You could have just easily slid this over like this is a domino or cards game and gave her what she wanted. She wasn't asking for 5 stacks, 50 stacks. I mean, just simple solutions that are being ignored. Like, they're throwing money at her. Like, that is just that's I mean, it's Tyler. It's like all you had to do was contact a bank or tell a personal banker, which is not hard for you. Like, what is the procedure when somebody is getting robbed? What are the do's and what are the don'ts? What will make you keep your job? What will make you not keep your job? But they just they're throwing money, and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to take this seriously. But going back to the bomb thing, that really frustrated me. When Teyana Taylor's character got her on the phone and they was doing the whole John Q thing, and she was going live, and she was like, oh, y'all think I'm trying to rob the bank? I wasn't trying to rob the bank. Well, actually, right before that, that's what the hostages were saying. Like, if you're not trying to rob the bank, why are you doing this? Oh, this is not even my gun. Why couldn't they have a simple line of dialogue just saying, oh, well, baby, you're not trying to rob the bank? Well, you have a gun and you have a bomb in your bag. Why wouldn't you ask that? Now, I thought about it now. Nicole was the only character that knew that. And then, but they gave the same chance to Teyana Taylor's character. Like, I'm not trying to rob the bank. I can't come outside because the man is going to shoot me. Oh, Teyana Taylor's character had to say, well, baby, do you understand how it looks? You have a gun and you have a bomb in your bag. But they didn't want to ask that, but they both knew. But no, the movie would be over then because Taraji, Janaya could have came at that point and said, "Oh, y'all think I have a bomb in the bag? No, this is not a bomb. This is my daughter's science project." And they had the video surveillance center as well, but no, that didn't happen until 12 hours later at the end of the movie when it was nighttime. So I mean, just poor, crappy writing. And examples of how Tyler rushes through this and doesn't, iron out the kinks. But the whole check cash and bomb thing was stupid because of that.
Please make sure you watch Breaking, because the bomb is so significant in the small amount of the check, and we're throwing money at this person, like whatever you need, and it's just like, it's not about the money, it's really not about the check, I just want to be heard and be seen. That's such a theme in there, along with that bomb. It's never a threat, it's just really to get into the plight of our leads here and what the staging or the situation in the bank was really about. Like, it was never about the money or the bombing of it all, or it not really being a bomb at all. I never meant to be a threat really to anybody. I just want what's owed to me, and for someone to acknowledge what I'm going through. It was just beat for beat, and Tyler, stop this. Just stop doing it. But I think it makes more sense when you go over and watch Breaking, personally. But according to the ending, I would guess, and that's probably me doing more favors to Tyler's script than I should, but they want to kill me. I'm gonna go out there and he's gonna kill me. And even just the glimpses of the lacking in a mental stability, I feel like all the inconsistencies with Janaya's behavior were supposed to make sense. Even, the, why y'all scared? I'm not gonna kill anybody and I'm waving a gun around, or you're tapping, on the desk and the bloody check and I just want what's owed to me, and oh, the bomb, and oh god, like, it's the behavior or just the inconsistencies of, why is she acting like this? So what's really going on? Actually, for you, did it all make sense in the end? Do you feel like we got enough glimpses of just this psychosis, or if you will, for it to become a full circle thing towards the end?
So here's the thing. I think it's hard to quantify or categorize a mental break, period, because it's so unpredictable. And so I think that's where Tyler does have room here. Like I said, I was touched in a moment. I was like, oh damn, like she really, damn, her baby died. Like it makes sense in that capacity, because you don't know what anyone will do when something so traumatic happens to them. So I think it was smart of him to introduce this, but I also agree with Critical Thinker, who said earlier in the chat yesterday it was probably a copyright situation. He had to throw something in there to give him some wiggle room, because the narrative is so closely knit to the other film. But no, I think it worked for me, because like I said, I think that Psychosis is unpredictable and we don't know how anyone will respond, and her normal is not everyone else's normal in this moment, right? Like, I'm waving this blicky that's fully loaded with the safety off because I didn't used it earlier, but why are y'all scared? Because it's not supposed to make sense. It's completely irrational. And I think he gets the freedom to do that by putting in the twist towards the end. And I know you're gonna say, well, he should have proved it, but I think he gave himself room here. I honestly do.
I did not. I wasn't gonna say nothing. B, what about you? Did it come full circle for you to make sense in the end? Were you watching Janaya with an uneasy sense of like, something wrong? Like, what's what's going on? Or did you just feel like, okay, clearly something is mentally going on with Janaya, and it's not just a situation of CPS taking her baby?
Not at first. But I did start to think like, okay, she is not all mentally there because of the performance. And Ashley, I knew somebody was going to say that, what you said. And I had to be honest with you. I think you're right. You are right that he does have, mental illness. It is not just one thing. It is a large spectrum of ups and downs, ins and outs. And so, yeah, he can use that. But at the same time, it does feel like a cop out, because when in Janaya's performance, there was a few moments where it was clearly obvious that she's not mentally there. There are some screws loose, and it is sad. But there was other scenes where she hops out of it and she's competent and she's aware and conscious of what she's doing. And I'm just like, wait a minute here, there's a little cheating. Okay, either you're going to be competent the whole time or you're going to be crazy. But then I'm like, but that is kind of crazy. Your mind is unstable, so you can go back and forth. So it's like, and one side of me it makes sense, but on the other side it doesn't. And so because you can't just sum up mental illness in one thing. It is, and I'm clearly no expert, but I know it's vast. But like as she's monologuing, oh, and this is going on and this going on and and she starts roaring. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy good. But then she's like, let down the blinds, let's go back and cut the cameras off and cut off the electricity. And it's just like, wait a minute, now you know what you're talking about and you're able to articulate your words to make sense. So I don't know. I'll give a reluctant plus as far as that's concerned. I think he kind of cheated a little bit, but it works. So it worked to his benefit. If I had to be fair. Yeah. So there you go. I'll give him that one.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. But we have an outside divided. We do have a whole lot of time to be spent outside as far as Shania's circumstances. We have this public outcry in support. We have this news coverage, and we have a police department which looks to be kind of full of men at this point. They're expecting and wanting the worst for Janiyah. Like, we're just trying to get to the get. And it just seems like the only voice of reason is Teyana, where we might have something. But Tyler and his ABCs of writing, especially in these type of scenarios, Black woman good, Black man subpar, white people bad. I want a little bit more dimension. I do, but I just know that we're not going to get that. I kind of spoke on Teyana's performance earlier, in where I feel like it could have been benefited a little bit more. But the outpour from the audience and the news and it's very, I ran for my life. I ain't grab no shoes or nothing. It's like when you find the most random person in the crowd of people, like this is the best person you could get to speak on the platform. It was just very like, I don't give a damn what she did. I understand. Oh God, it was comical. A lot of the film just got so over the top that it was in a cartoonish sense. But we do have the outside world, as far as Janiyah is concerned, be very divided as far as where she should fall for what's taking place. And I'm not even going to say what she did, because after it occurred and kind of investigating, it doesn't seem like Glenn's death, the manager, really meant anything, because it was just so hyper fixated on find that white police officer and that woman who gave me that ticket, and then I'll come out, because he said that he was going to do X, Y, and Z to me. We didn't really mention him after that. Ashley?
Oh Lordy McGordy. Okay, so this is the thing. And if you watch enough Tyler Perry, he always sets this enmity between the Black man and the Black woman. So even when we get to see Detective Raymond's partner, well, we don't care. We know she's a killer. The only one, I guess, was the chief, played by, Dunbar, old boy from Soul Food, who kind of gives a little bit of balance there. But I'm in this, it's always a man against woman, preferably a Black man against a Black woman in his narratives. And I don't know why he wants the division there like that, but it's always a betrayal, something like, I don't give a damn, blow her effing head off. Like, ho, shut up, B. I told you, like, what? Like, what are we doing here? So it was very interesting to me. And there's always a champion, right? Someone's going to champion the woman on the outside to be able to bring help to whatever. Again, it was par for the course. They always are going to have, what was the man, y'all, with the red thing on his head? They snatching hide your kids, hide your wife, or ain't nobody got time for that. It's always going to be somebody in the crowd, and that's the one that the camera's going to pan to. So I get what they were trying to do there.
Wait, Ashley, before you keep going, how did you feel when we had Teyana go and slap and reprimand the white officer?
Child, really? Try to knock his head off. Teyana, please. No, it was the power suit walk, and you know I hated it. Cause what are you doing with that Synthetica bouncing in the air? Like, and don't get me wrong, Teyana looks good, period, right? But no, baby, I don't believe you. I don't believe you went and knocked this 6'5" dude's head off his shoulders. I don't believe. I don't believe it. And he didn't do anything back as much cash money
You
as
know
he
what
was
I'm
talking
saying?
before. It
Yeah,
would have been a brawl. Like it just, we again
yeah.
suspend
No,
reality and
spending
just,
nothing, Ashley. You see what you did to her?
listen,
You see
listen,
what you did?
listen.
You did
I'm
this to her. You did this to Janaya. No, I'm not.
like he put the blicky in her hand and made her pull the trigger on diabolical Colonel Taylor. We know that's not a thing, Tyra. We
You're
like, come
right.
on. We
Oh,
we
you're
know
right.
it. Is it is it like we already know this is par for the course over here, Tyra? Come on
I'm
now.
not doing that. Tyler needs to do better. I don't care. He gonna get this work every single time he put out one of these films. B, how did you feel about the hide your kids, hide your wives out there and the division that we have with the community on the outside, even with the department? Because all y'all bad, all your white cops. Look what you did to Janaya. This is your fault.
Yeah, like everything else, it was too much. I didn't believe her at all when she went and struck the cop. That just wouldn't have happened in a million years in any universe. And it was overacting too at that point. She was underacting and then overacting. So that's just bad. And I'm not an expert on hair and makeup, but that didn't look good either. Coming from Teyana. I mean, she looks good, but that department,
Yeah,
that department did not. I'm not trying to sound mean or ugly, and I know they was out there for a while, but the crowd when Sinbad's character was out there in the front, I was like, how did you get over here? Like, like, I mean, you know, because earlier about the white cop, they was on the road and it was raining and mind you, the cop was guys, he didn't even Janai didn't even hit his car. He had to swerve out of the way. This dude was running over cones and stuff, trying to pit her. Like you're not paying attention to like all the onlookers and stuff like that. This is 2025. Everybody has a cell phone, cameras on, light posts, all that stuff. They just threw that out the window. But the hide your kid, hide your wife lady. I mean, it was just really frustrating. Like you do know that she's wanted for murder. Well, what did the mother effers do? Because I'm tired, and they must have deserved it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It was something else I was going to say as well. It slipped my mind. If I remember, it'll come back. But given the information that the crowd had through the live, I can understand how they would be on their side. But the information we had that she was a cold-blooded murderer, I'm just like, this is dumb. This is silly. This is embarrassing. So
that little one moment with the negative Nancy that is Glenn Turman ruined her narrative a bit. It muddied the waters where we couldn't completely root for her the way we wanted to, if you wanted to root at all, because we still did that one thing where we could have just had it. Oh, a misfire. I don't know. This is Tyler. These are the breaks. These are the breaks. Hey, Movie Bay in the chat. I see you, girl. But leaving this here, we have her sticking beside her. She sticks beside her, and for the most part, with Ashley saying like she really felt Sherri. She felt her in these moments, and she says, I'm not leaving her. We get this compassion and this understanding. I think this is for anybody, along with Taraji's performance, who says like I really loved and I cried and it was gripping. I think it's this. Like I said in the beginning, it was not enough for me. I didn't care either way, but I could understand the audience fearing and really loving this compassion that we have between this, almost like a sisterhood. I didn't buy it. I'm sorry. But for those who did, I can understand this being a stepping stone as to why you did enjoy the film as much as you did if you did enjoy it. I don't got nothing to say about it. Ashley, if you want to elaborate on that.
I do, because I do think this was probably one of the most touching portions, because at this point, everything's said and done. Taraji comes back to herself, right? It's like, oh, damn, my baby died last night. And you knew? Yeah, I knew since earlier. And even in all of that, even in everything you've done, even in all of this behavior, I'm still willing to hold your hand and get you through this. I thought it was touching. I thought it was moving. It was a moment. And I may be menstrual, you know what I'm saying? I may be hormonal. I may be a little bit emo right now, but I cried real tears. The one thing y'all would never have these two ladies do, though, is walk backwards at night in a parking lot. That is crazy as hell to me for all those steps. And you know they have the dips right in front of where you park. Like, that was crazy to me. Why are we walking backwards without someone there to guide us? But other than that, yeah, I thought it was very touching. I hope, you know, I'm gonna walk you through there. Put your hands up, Janiyah. Like, let me walk you through this. Let me get you there. And I, like I said, I thought it was a moment. I thought it was touching. And I absolutely believe Sherri by this point. Even when she sends the other girls out, like, I'm not leaving her. I'm going to stay with her, knowing what I know, knowing that she basically threatened all of us, you know, even though she said she didn't. We were fearing for our lives. I'm going to go back and I'm going to wait with her because she's my sister. I'm going to put money on her books and I'm going to visit her in the pink tattoo. I believed her.
Shout out to the 300 people here. We are very happy to have you. Be sure that you are hitting that like button. I I'm sorry, it didn't do. I loved the division as far as people who were really, really touched, and I guess the other sector of people who weren't. I wasn't, fortunate enough to be one of those people. And I think that I can't really delve into, that because there was so much of this. Why did we need a fake out death? If anybody can explain to me why, even prior to the walkout and us having, I'm going to stand here by you and hold your hand. All Janiyah ever wanted was to be supported, be seen, and know that her baby was going to be taken care of. And the fact that Sherri Shepherd's character was, even though we know what happened with the baby, trying to be there for her and be that bridge, it's commendable. But why do we need this fake out death? This was so cheap to me. I thought it was poor. Have we not suffered enough throughout this movie, Tyler? With everything we had been through up until this point with Janiyah, especially if it wasn't going to be a real deal, especially if you've seen Breaking and how we kind of go there and it going beat for beat, I wasn't in any way discouraged to think that that was a real thing. B, how did you feel when we had the guards come in and the shooting and the death, and then we kind of snapped back because it never happened?
I didn't like it. I thought it was cheap and kind of diluted the higher points early in the film, especially between Nicole and Janiyah. After the John Q live moment, that she was saying that she was cold when they went in the office. It was a scene where she was like, "Oh, I like your perfume or something. Is it a gift?" She was like, "It's from my husband." Showed her the pictures and stuff, and that was one of the better scenes in the whole movie to me. But then you have this fake death towards the end, and it just kind of takes that away. And going back to where Nicole said, "I knew the whole time." Like, well, how? Like, when did you get that information? Because when she was being sympathetic towards the end, is like, "I'm not going to leave her." I was thinking that was just because she realized that it wasn't a bomb anymore, but it's because she felt sorry for her because she knew that her daughter was died the previous day, and this whole day she's been hallucinating. I'm just not really buying it. That's just they kind of jumped the shark there, and another cheat in my opinion. So, and like you said, the fake death, like enough was enough. Like, this was the end of the movie. We know she's going to jail. People have sorry for her. She's kind of already won, in a way. But then the daughter has to die too. Like, I mean, that was just it was unnecessary. I don't know why he had to go there. I had something else to say. I can't think of it now, but yeah, I didn't like it.
I understood why he went here. So much of this was around her mental state and maybe this, some of the psychosis of it all when she was kind of coming in and out. So much of her narrative in the bank is, that man. And I think it was literal. Of course, she's zeroing in on this officer because of X, Y, and Z. But I think she meant in general, nobody's ever helped me. I'm not getting any support. Everyone's out to get me. And there's no way I'm walking out of here with my life. You guys are just saying these, or you're saying you're going to care for my baby or be there for whatever, but do you mean it? Everybody says things and don't mean it. There's no way I'm walking out of here with my life because the world is out to get me. I got that, but I still didn't like the visual of it, and I didn't care to see it. Ashley, fake out death.
Yeah, I echo you guys' sentiments that this was definitely cheap, and he wanted to cry, he wanted a tear, and he wanted to traumatize more people. Tyler did Four Color Girls, y'all. He wants to traumatize people. He wants to make you have a moment, right? Because like after all this, they gonna unalive this black woman. But no, I felt like it was cheap, and this was disrespectful for me, and I have to sound like a broken record. I'm gonna say breaking one more time, Dane. So get mad about it. But knowing what happened in real life to that man in this exact same situation, and then for you to do the same thing over here, but no, we're going to clean it up after that. Like, no, it didn't really happen. This is just, what she was thinking about, like, based on her actions, this was the next logical, effect to that. I didn't like it. I think we could have proceeded without them busting out the windows, dropping down like it was Mission Impossible. I didn't need that. I think it still would have elicited the emotion for me without that. I didn't need that at all.
Yeah, I also want to like. I don't think anyone. Well, I don't want to assume, but and y'all can answer. I mean, if a woman has postpartum or has some type of mental breakdown and she drowns her kids or poisons them, do y'all have empathy or sympathy for that type of person, or should they be put under the jail? I want to know the answer, but it's more rhetorical because at the same time, that's kind of how Janiyah can be as well. Because when they were having the conversation about the perfume and her family and her wanting to get back, like, well, hey, when she's like, I got to be honest with you, Janiyah, this is bad. She's like, yeah, I know it's bad. They're not gonna let me out of here alive. Well, we can try. During that scene, damn, I just lost my. Nicole asked her like, okay, do you have any other help? And she was like, no. You got to be careful who you sleep with. I kind of wish they would explore more of her backstory and the baby dad and their relationship. I mean, was she making bad decisions? Was she out there being a harlot? Or did she just happen to be naive because of her upbringing and some man in white shining armor and promised her the world? And, and they had a relationship for a week, 6 months or whatever. I wish they could have went down that road. But she says, do you have anything else? She was like, no, my mother and my sister are crazy. They can't be around my daughter as well. How are they crazy, or are you the crazy one? You are the crazy one here. Like maybe they have been trying to get the daughter for 3 years because they knew that you couldn't take care of her, and she ends up dead. So nobody wins. Your boss is murdered. Your daughter is gone as well, and you have all this national attention for nothing. So I just thought about that. I know we're kind of. I want to get that off my chest as well. There's one more thing too about these black men, but. That was important to me. They were just. Yeah, I don't have to necessarily have character depth to enjoy a movie, but when you're wanting me to root for them for something, that can assist. Like there's not much about John Wick. He lost his puppy, but I love those films. But this is completely different. And just kind of cut a lot of corners as far as that aspect is concerned too, in my opinion.
I think the whole my mother and sister are crazy too. I think the film wanted us to, and I'm assuming, wanted us to believe that she was a good mother, or more upstanding and more conscious or aware of herself mentally before the baby died. I think that was kind of her last straw. Whereas that's probably struggle, strife, and all those good things. Yeah, I think she was acknowledging them as crazy because maybe. And that's still us giving olive branches to Tyler that weren't provided to us by the film, but maybe they were already privy to the information that the baby passed, of course, because she calls, and they knew consciously it wasn't something that she was accepting. So it was like, yeah, they're crazy. Let me just kind of dismiss them. I think it was just something momentary and not something over time. I don't think she had ever broken down to this point in this way until this very moment here. As far as I guess mental illness or PTSD or postpartum and the leverage that you're giving people, I just think it's very in a criminal sense, it's very great to hopefully acknowledge and help with these things before it ever gets to a point. I think even with this film, Ordained, even with Breaking, the message is to acknowledge and try to help before things get too far or get to this type of point. We would hope that they don't,
Mhm.
but it muddies that line because you have so many people commit some of the heinous things and blame X, Y, and Z in their mental state, and then it's just kind of how do you know what's what? So that's why it's important to acknowledge struggle or situations like Janaya's before it's just like okay, whatever. Because we do have these situations, these people surrounding her, maybe some if not all knowing that her baby is no longer with us, but we're not kind of interjecting or doing anything in that moment up into in the bank, and then it's just like
Man,
well now things are kind of times 10, it's a little too late.
it's kind of like you explained it better than the movie did.
You okay, Tyler? Gotta help. Ashley, anything you want to share on what B had to say?
Um, okay, so I did have just a question to piggyback your question before I responded. Were you equating Janaya's behavior to a woman with postpartum who would hurt her child,
Um,
or you're just asking
in
just in
general,
general?
in general,
It
if and not just postpartum, if a woman is going through any type of mental episode and she harms her children, do we hold her responsible or do we feel sorry for her?
I think you can do both. I think that, and I agree with Tyra. I think what he may be, and again, this is giving him far more credit than he probably deserves here, is that underserved, underprivileged Black, brown populations don't have access to the care they need for intervention, right? And so as a result of that, the worst thing happens. I think it's possible to hear about a woman driving her babies off the edge of a cliff and wanting to put her under the jail, and also understanding that her mental health played a role in her actions, and praying for her and having compassion. But baby, you still got to be under the jail for now. And I also think it's an impetus for change, right? Because then what do we do? It's, or a catalyst is a better word. Because now what can we do to get people access to the care and treatment that they need so that these things don't happen in the future? But I think the criminality portion of it has to be assessed, and you have to pay for that. But I can also, in my heart of hearts, say, well, damn, she broke. You know what I mean? And I can pray for her, but she still got to be under the jail
Okay.
for me, in
Thank
my
you for
opinion.
that. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I almost thought about not coming today because I had some opinions that I wanted to give, and I was like, if I say what's really on my mind, like I'm gonna lose some subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole single mother thing, like I get it, and but sometimes it's just like, you know, you get a free pass, like no matter what. Because I mean, I converse a lot, and life, of course, is not fair. Sometimes nobody asked to be here. We just all show up one day. We can't control our family. And we can't control our mom and dad. Some of us have the great moms and dads in the world. Some of us are born into a world where we're beaten and molested by our parents, and it sucks that it's not fair. But when I was watching this, I was really just like, okay, Tyler wants us to sympathize and empathize. I just wanted more from her character. Did she make bad decisions, or was she just dealt shit cards? Because we all know people in our personal life, but me, I know some women that have been dealt shit cards, but I know some single mothers to where they're just some of the most irresponsible people on the planet, and know this themselves. It's not even my opinion. It's stuff that they've admitted to me, of how manipulative they are and how to get over and how their life sucks. And I'm just like, okay, well, your life will get, stop doing these things. Don't try to rob your apartment out of not paying rent by cheating them off of fake money orders, or I can go down the list. So I think I'm all around the place.
No,
I wanted to feel sorry for her, and I just don't feel the film gave enough reason to do so, especially with her being a murderer. And this is kind of a side thing. I wanted to ask y'all, when she first put her gun in front of Tessa and she hit the silent alarm, And when Nicole was in the office and she got the alert and 911 call, she said, "Hey, excuse me, we're being robbed." She got a gun. She has a bomb, I think. I think her name is Jaya or Janaya. And then the 911 operator said, Janaya so-and-so, the whole name. And she was like, "How do you know that?" And it cut away. Did that mean anything, or am I looking too deep into that? Was there like a hint that this whole thing was a dream or something? Or,
Ashley?
I don't think so. I think she just really didn't remember her name, but I am very curious now that you said that, B. I just have to ask
yeah,
another
yeah.
thing really quickly. Because I just feel like, and maybe this is part of it, because and like I said, I may be giving Tyler more credit than he deserves at this point, but maybe he did want to start a discussion or a discourse around this, because I just feel like for me, I absolutely had a heart of compassion for Janiyah. Um, Based on what we saw in her conditions and how she lived, and I think I would have that heart of compassion for anybody, even if she had made mistakes in the past. Say that she was throwing it out of every draw leg and had a different man every night of the week. I can still have a heart of compassion for her struggling to take care of her baby as a single mom. Did she make bad decisions, poor decisions? Maybe. But I still feel like I would feel for her. Like I would feel for anyone. I would feel for a man who had made some poor decisions and found himself down on his luck. I would have empathy and I'd have compassion. And I don't know if I'd be asking for, you know, a fact list or like her
I
rap
feel you.
sheet on what she had done to deserve X, Y, or
I think
Z.
that's very nice and commendable of you.
What does that mean?
I mean,
But
No,
he said,
I
no,
will
that's
no,
all.
say
I'm being
as
for real. I'm
the
being for real.
only parent on the panel, the only, for a very long time, single mother on the panel, it's easy to look at somebody else's situation and just say, do better, choose better. Well, what did you do to get yourself into that situation? And even if that person continues to get themselves into that situation over and over again, it's their prerogative and everything is subjective. It's about whatever cards you're dealt, what you decide to do with it as a woman or as a man, and that's going to depict your outcome. But I would never, wag a finger or look at someone and go, well, you should. No, that's not for anybody to do.
True, true.
Anybody watching this, you're definitely going to have compassion for Jania's situation. And I think that's why a lot of people are eager to, cling to it. A lot of people may be Janias or feel some connection in that way to her situation, not to the outlandishness of it, but, the struggle of just being alone and just feeling like it's you against the world and your baby and the world is on your shoulders and up, there goes, another thing. How much can I take? I think that theme is pretty universal in that way, but I don't think it's for anybody to say what somebody shoulda, coulda, or wouldn't have done to get them into their situation. That's just subjective and what that person decided to do.
I agree. I agree. I just to clarify real quick, I just kind of felt like the overall narrative of this was feel sorry for a single black woman no matter what, and I'm just kind of
Well, it is Tyler. It is
I'm
Tyler,
just
so
not
that's
on the boat.
always going to be in the front. But we're not gonna, and we can get that because we gonna wrap it up and almost get into Jania's fate and what we feel like is gonna happen to her. But as we said, it was all in her mind. This never happened. I think this brief moment that we have in the beginning of the film and her waking up was the baby, please. It was the though brief, we do have this moment of her packing her baby to the hospital, and it's kind of like she wakes up, and then of course it's the eviction notice and this, that, and the third in the community, and you gonna get out if you ain't got my money. At this point, her baby had already been dead, and she's just kind of grieving and dealing with the loss and slipping further and further into being mentally unstable throughout the day. B, was this earned when you found out the baby has been gone and this was all in your mind? Did the film make more sense for you?
Slightly, but I can't give it a pass. Because I said earlier this was cheating, and if you're gonna end the film, with this type of disaster, just give me a better production, give me better acting. Um, because you're pandering here, in my opinion. With this, the movie was already 10 nuclear train wrecks, and then you brought in an alien invasion after all of that. So, and I mean that. So I don't think it was earned. I don't think it was necessary. I think it was just over the top and too much. So
Ashley, what about you? Was this earned for you?
I mean, earned is relative. Like I said, I think it was smart. I think he did this as a convention to make it all make sense in the end, or at least an attempt to leave the window open that this could fit and could work. For with that in mind, like I said, when I went back, I was like, okay, she was in a delusion. Like all this stuff didn't happen the way we saw it because this was her POV. And so for that reason, it's Tyler, and it was.
Yeah. Well,
It
as you
was.
said, it would be easy to what B said, forgive a black struggling woman no matter what. Like it's easy to have that takeaway from this film, but this was definitely Tyler trying to like see when a black woman's out crying for help. Hopefully, in general, when someone's out crying for help. Oh my God! Out.
it's like it was trying to make you feel guilty for not feeling guilty about her.
Well, let me ask you this, B. With this being said, right, and we're talking about this, when you watched Pursuit of Happiness, did you ask yourself that same question
Um,
about our about Will Smith's character over
no, not at
there?
all. Not at all. Because the list of unfortunate events were like 7 times higher in this movie, and the acting was much better in Pursuit of Happiness. So it was just much more believable. I mean, half of the dialogue in this was a clown show. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Pursuit of Happiness is a totally totally different film, and it's a very grounded situation. It's very self-realized, and talk about crying at the end of the movie. Like that's something. I just put them in two different universes, but I do understand why somebody would try to compare the two, or just the dynamics of, I guess, the struggle. But this is just different. It's earned is a stretch. This kind of felt like a band-aid for everything else that was kind of a subpar shark coming in the film to go, well, see, this is all going to make sense. I really wish that we went the Joker route, because I do see, Joker or unreliable narrator mentioned quite often. But then we get the slippery slope of, well, what all happened to Janiyah and what didn't in this day. I think if we were going to go the Joker route, just like in the first Joker, go ahead and give us what really took place and what the Joker or Janiyah thought she saw versus what she didn't. Give us that perspective so we can have confirmation as an audience and really go like, oh, well, now it all kind of makes sense. It didn't tie in that way. It just maybe tied in oh, she's really, having that mental breakdown in this grand way because she lost her baby. The baby was never, the issue this whole time. She's been gone. But it was different. I didn't expect the twist, but it didn't come the way I wanted it to in the end. But I see what he was going for.
And Pursuit of Happiness is based on a true story, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not speaking to any of that. Just the compassion that you had for him in his situation. True or not, just being the optics of it all. Him being a man who decided to sell these things rather than do something else that he could have done, right? Because choices were made. He made a choice to sacrifice in this time to do something else later. But the struggle was there, right? And so I just was curious
You want me to
about it.
respond or let it go?
No, I was just
Right.
explaining why I had that reference. But yeah, I know it's a true story. I just meant just as far as your feeling or heart of compassion for the situations, would you have asked about his past situations and the choices that he made?
Yeah. I think, okay, I was gonna save this until like our final thoughts, but I would have had more compassion for Janiyah, but that scene with her boss like literally ruined it all for me. I mean, I gave this a 2 out of 10. That scene brought it down 3 or 4 points alone, and then we got to talk about the writing and the acting as far as everything else. But as far as Pursuit of Happiness, good point. You said true or untrue. I felt I got more of his backstory and how him and his significant other started out at the beginning of their marriage. um, and how it ended up in present day. And we saw you said decisions were made. Well, he still at the time kept the job that he was going to do, and then wanted to pursue something else on top of that. One of the reasons why I didn't like his spouse in that movie, because she didn't have a good reason for leaving. But sorry, I'm not trying to be petty. I just trying to clarify as well.
I love this conversation so much. I love a film that opens up some dialogue. It's good in that way. Um, Jani's fate, child. Interesting enough premise. I think in someone else's hands, this could have really been something, but it was in Tyler's. I put you going to jail today. As much as we want to, free Janaya in the crowd and walk out backwards, I think, especially with her good, awful, terrible day, and where we were kind of leading through with her character, regardless of what all happened, I don't see a scenario here where we're gonna just kind of walk away from. We could have walked, maybe skated by with everything else, but I think the death of the manager at the store would have maybe sealed Jania's fate to where she was doing more time. Now, you would hope in a perfect world that we wouldn't be not only trying to deal with that and get resolved for his death, but also trying to deal with her mental state and the things that got her even up to the point to the death, to even before she ever went in the bank. Let's deal with the traits and the mental state of it all, and what she needs as a person, as a woman, and now probably as, I don't know, a prisoner or whatever, the therapy, like those things. I don't think we got any closure in that way. It's just kind of left up in the air. But I don't see a scenario where she isn't doing some type of time. I don't know. Actually, is Janaya doing time?
Yeah, they need to throw the book at her. She might do time in a insane asylum, but she's got to do she's got to she got to do some time. Like, that's all there is to it. Now, will they take off the wrap for the incendiary device? Probably, but at the end of the day, she's still unalive somebody. That was the part that happened, right? She was dripping with the blood, so we know that happened. So yeah, no, again, and I'm never, like I said, of the mindset that someone shouldn't have to pay for the things that they've committed. I think, again, I'm probably given more credit, but it opens a conversation about, are there resources available to help people when they're having a break, a mental break, and is there any intervention at all? But no, she needs to go under the jail. I'd like it if Nicole goes and puts a little bit of money on her books and maybe visits her once a month. It'll be nice. And she probably could plead temporary insanity and, like I said, do her time in one of those asylum, sanitarium type places. But yeah, no, you got to pay the price. You did harm. You caused harm. You traumatized people in a way that they'll never recover from. This is what gives people PTSD. I mean, as much as we want to embrace Janaya and all that, and I liked, like I said, how the branch manager reaches out to her and holds her hand. She still will have nightmares about this. This is traumatic. Like, you got held up and you thought you were going to be bombed, and all of these things. You didn't think you were going to come home to see your family and loved ones. She's got to pay the price, unfortunately, but maybe because of the spotlight, maybe because of all the people, it could prevent that from happening to someone else.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's what I was
I don't
thinking
know.
also. B, what's her fate? What's gonna happen to Janaya?
Yeah, 100% she going to jail. She should go to jail. I agree with everything Ashley said. So yeah, she's out of there.
All right, and Ashley, I am going to come back to you. What are your closing thoughts on this film?
Like I said, it was fine. It's Tyler Perry. It's better than Duplicity for me. It was better than Fall from Grace for me. So there's that. Like I said, I appreciated the sentiment towards the end, and I liked that expression of love between Black women. Like, I felt that. He's always gonna have Queen Mother there to give her words of wisdom. Baby, no, you did wrong. The right thing would be going out there and turning yourself in. You want a peppermint? You want a cinnamon candy? A butterscotch? Like, he's gonna bring it all home there. Like I said, overall, it was fine. Is it like Tyra asked me, well, would you rewatch it? Well, Tyra, that's a whole
Why I
different
gotta
story.
sound like
I don't
this?
need to. I don't need to rewatch it. But I do. I think it was fine. I think it was touching, and I think it served a purpose hopefully in the community, if nothing else, but pay attention to people and maybe give them more than you're behind a kiss, and maybe have some empathy and compassion for the next man.
That's all I pretty much had for it. Though I didn't per se, I guess, enjoy the film, I can appreciate the message in that somebody somewhere might see this and consider not just the Black woman's plight or struggle or mental standing, but everyone's. Like, pay attention, and it doesn't cost anybody anything to be concerned and listen and show compassion for the next person. B, closing thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't like this movie. I just didn't, for the reasons that we talked about. But as far as Tyler Perry is concerned, I still like him to a degree. Some of his stuff I like, some of his stuff I don't like. I think that's fair. I am not a self-hating Black person over here. I don't have to always say a Black project is a 10 out of 10 just because it's a Black project. They're going to get the same criticism as anything else, and we deserve the best in everything we do, not just crumbs or leftovers. And sometimes that seems like what we get from Tyler Perry Productions, but other times not. Again, I didn't like how, and it was some entertaining, moments in this film. Taraji did great for the most part. So did Sherri Shepherd and sprinkles of Teyana Taylor. But the production was poor, just bad quality, bad dialogue, bad writing for majority of this. I don't like the fact that the Black men in the bank all abandoned the women in there. The reason that they escaped was weak to me. Just another example of bad writing. When Janaya, and I'm still going, when she asked him to go lock the door, Nicole had the keys in her hand and kept the keys. So she had the keys for a number of hours. They could have walked out. When she went to go get the chairs, she left the bomb there on the counter. So they could have took the bomb and the keys and walked out of there, even with the old lady. But I'm beating a dead horse here. But it just, as far as the message is concerned, I think you said, Ashley, about pay attention to people around you. I'll give it that. That's very fair. And I do at least like the conversations that are brought up in them, highlighting all the pain and struggles that a Black woman single can go through. We definitely don't want to ignore them. And someone said that I have a heart, full of stone. It's just not that.
Who said that? Is that in the chat?
Yeah, it's in the chat. I mean, they were laughing. I wasn't offended by it, but I mean, and if you're gonna ask me to feel sorry for a character, just give me a good reason to. Don't make them a cold-blooded murderer. And I think we can meet halfway. So, I like 6888. I thought Duplicity was okay, and I didn't like this film. So, maybe I'll like Tyler Perry's next film, and I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, Medea's Destination Wedding. I think so. I don't know. I'm just joking. Yeah. Do remember that these are our opinions, and films, they're meant to be subjective, and for us to share that. We don't always have to be in agreement on one thing to, get to the conversation. It's great to have open dialogue about something, whether you liked it or not. But that is it for all things Straw. I think we covered everything from front to back. Now, tonight is our Saturday members only watch along, as far as myself and Ashley is concerned. If you want to be a part of that, please become a member of the Struggle or of the Sweet Peas. I am going to run this ad, and we're going to come back and let you guys know what we have coming up individually on our channels. Thank you so much. Be right back, y'all.
Where she wanna be, call me Freaky T. Off the leash, I feel like a dog. I get never free. Never needed you, but you needed me. I got clean, make up baby clean. Lose your self-esteem. I get touched in the morning, so I feel like baby clean. Was it black, step by step, so I just like baby clean. But I'm cold, cause he also know you know it's giving
All right, as you guys can see, Ashley and I will be watching Boogie Nights for old time's sake. Ashley's first time watch is definitely going to be an interesting night. But B, I am going to come to you first. Thank you so much for being here, first of all, and let the people know what you have coming up on your channel.
Yeah, thanks for having me, of course, Tara. I really do appreciate it. I always have a great time. Ashley, again, it's always a pleasure working with you as well. You guys are great, and I love the energy. Y'all be working hard too. Y'all got something to do after this. I'm tired, you know. So shout out to y'all. But I'm B. Avery, just my opinion. I give my opinion on all the latest films and television shows in the mainstream media, whether that's in theaters and or streaming. Next review I have coming is Diablo. It is a martial arts film with Scott Adkins that drops with Lionsgate this next Friday. Got a review coming for you this coming week. It's pretty good. Also, Samuel Jackson and Pierce Brosnan has a film called gosh dog it, I forgot what it's the triple unit or something like that. Hold on, Samuel L. Jackson, y'all gonna be patient with me real quick. Hold on, because it's Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So we always want to show up for Sam. The triple untold, the unholy trinity. Yes, the unholy trinity. That's coming out next week, and I don't know if it's good or not, but I'm gonna give a review for it no matter what. And I think that's all I got right now. I think I'm seeing How to Train Your Dragon on Monday, so y'all may get a review and an out of theater reaction as well. And also, I'm on my backup camera. I broke my good one. So if y'all want to throw a brother a super chat or something to help me get that repaired, I ain't too proud to beg over here. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all for tuning in and come subscribe. Help me get to 60K subs. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Ashley, I am definitely gonna let your lip rest, boo. Once again, you guys meet us literally in 3 minutes or so for our members only watch along. And tomorrow we will be back with the collective news, a little roundup of pop culture things that we've been doing. I think this is our third or fourth one. So be here for that. They have been entertaining thus far. But we really appreciate you guys for spending this time with us. Shout out to all 300 of you. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. And also leave your commentary below for good or bad. I'm not stingy with, a bad comment. If you didn't like something that was said here, I engage in it. I revel. I love it. So do as you may. Thank you guys so much. And we will definitely.
I don't. If you disrespectful, I will block you.
Yeah, well, just me. My stands are my stands alone, not Ashley. But we do appreciate you guys so much, and thank you. We will see you guys next time. Good night.
So presently I'm standing here right now, you're so demanding. Tell me what you want from me. Concluding, concentrating on my musing lover and her babies. Made me wanna ask you later for a ticket.